Alright, what's up everybody? You're back with The Chosen Con, and today in the studio we got Mr. Sumit Judge, aka, I don't know, what is your nickname? You got a nickname?
No, people call me, no, Sumit's my name. Yeah, I used to be called Sumit in school, because it's spelled wrong, but Sumit.
Alright, so he has no nickname, but he's a director extraordinaire, future lawyer, you're gonna pop out 15 kids. What are the things, what are they gonna be the things that when you die, they're gonna say, Sumit Judge did this? He offends a lot of people too. But
I hope he's a good guy. That's it.
Yeah, and I think you are one of the kindest guys I've ever met in my life.
Thank you.
I mean that, man. We met at Gary Manget's wedding, right?
Yes.
And that night I saw you and you had glasses on. And I was like, this is probably the most innocent guy I've ever seen in my life. Like, I just saw you dancing. And I was like, he's a very nice... No, I swear, I saw you dancing. I didn't talk to you we didn't talk that night, you remember?
Not till later that night.
Yeah, but at the wedding, did you see me or no?
I saw you at the wedding. We talked really briefly. You'd spoken more to the other Desi comedy guys, Darshan and Kushan and Raj. I'd spoke to Omar a little bit and Bonita a little bit.
Yeah.
I was in the mood, like, I hate making new friends. Because you got to just reacquaint yourself and yada, yada, yada. But I'm lucky we got along real well.
It was a vibe, man.
It was a vibe, yeah. And it was Raj and I think Omar who really wanted to hang out. And things happened, and now we're like good friends. It's been like, what, 6 months almost?
Yeah, man. Now I've been to your house, I think, I don't know, man, maybe like 10 times.
Yeah,
I spent hours and hours at your house listening to your mom, who's a wonderful woman. You know what I mean? Just like, why are all these people at my damn house? But she cares. She loves them. So what I want to talk about today, man, was like, I don't know that much about you. Like, you are an open book. You're one of the few people that I know that are fully and completely open. And I've always wondered about your journey, man. So where are you from?
So I was born here in North York, and I lived here for most of my life.
Well, what about your parents? Where are they from?
My parents are Indian. My dad was born in Amritsar, Punjab.
Yeah.
And my mom was born in Fagwara, Punjab, Jalandhar, supposed to be a city. She came here in '84, but this was before the riots and before Operation Blue Star.
Yeah.
She avoided that, and my dad came because of that in 1990.
So did they know each other before? Like, when did they get married?
So they got engaged in '88, and the reason my dad actually married my mother was he needed to get out of Canada because it was tough for Sikh youth.
Yeah.
Especially living in Amritsar, which was like the hub of...
He needed to get out of Canada or India?
Sorry, India.
Yeah.
India. He needed to get out of India, especially because he lived in Amritsar, which was like the hub of, everything that was happening during those times. So he married my mom, and he came here in '90, and he definitely missed India, and I think he's definitely not anymore, but a lot of it was to escape the, I guess I don't know the right word to use, but it was Punjab was real bloody for almost a decade.
And your dad saw all this.
He saw all of it. Yeah, he was actually in the Golden Temple when Operation Blue Star started.
Hold up, he was in the temple?
He was in the temple because it was a holiday.
Yeah.
Like it was, I think, the birth anniversary of one of the gurus. I think one of your listeners can correct me, but I'm pretty sure. And they escaped right at the beginning, and he actually visited the Golden Temple a week after.
Yeah.
And I think what really, I guess, pissed him off and enraged him and disappointed him was to see army officers walking around in the temple with boots on.
Yeah.
No disregard for the sacredness of the temple. Blood was still in the pool.
Yeah.
And I think.
And your dad, man, that's insane.
Yeah, and he was 19 years old, which is crazy.
Yeah. And so he saw that, and then he bounced.
Yeah, he left in '90. Well, he was there for 6 years. So it was still difficult. Punjab it was controlled by the military for, I think, till 1990-91. So it was tough. And that's why he married my mom, to be very honest. I think a lot of people got married for the same reasons.
Just to get out.
Just to get out. But I think now they're in love.
But so it took a while. So he first needed her, he used her to get to Canada. And then they got together, they had some kids. It was kind of, was it very formal? Like, hey, you know what? We've had some kids together. Are you down to fall in love now? Or like, what do you think?
I think a lot of it is because I spoke to my dad about it because the second film that I made is sort of based on them. It's about an immigrant couple's, like their experience, the first 2 weeks and what they go through.
Yeah.
The isolation and also the familiarity, the lack of familiarity.
Yeah.
And my dad's like, he fell in love with my mom when he started appreciating her for what she did. My mom was a very hardworking woman. My dad was sick a lot.
Yeah.
So she she would do deliveries, carpet deliveries on her own, and it's hard to be an immigrant, like you know, and your family knows, and everyone listening probably knows. And I think he really fell in love with a person who cared that much about him. And I think there's a shared common struggle, which
brings people together.
Yeah.
It definitely does, man. And so that's how basically they came together, was through that struggle. They moved to North York. Where did they move to?
So we moved to North York, Jane and Finch, which is like known as the Hood in GTA, which I don't think so anymore.
Isn't it nice now?
I wouldn't say it's. I think it's. I worked there for 6 years in 2010 to 2016.
Yeah.
It's real nice. Like it's much better, but a lot of it is propaganda and media. It's a majority black area, and it's been painted as a dangerous or a backward area, but the people are very loving. A lot of them are West African. We're like the sweetest people on the planet, people from Ghana.
So you grew up with them?
Yeah, well, I didn't grow up with them. I spent my late teens and early 20s with them, and that sort of shaped me.
What about when you were born, like elementary school? Where were you at?
Brampton, Mississauga, like every other immigrant in Toronto.
What's Brampton like for people that are listening, man? What's it like?
Brampton's, you know what? A lot of people compare it with Surrey.
So it's a wonderful place, man, with old brown people walking around, occasional shootings. But that's about it.
No, we don't have shootings in Brampton.
How do you guys not have shootings?
I don't know why. I think it might have to do with the fact that Surrey's so close to the port, and obviously there's drug trafficking.
Yeah.
I might be wrong, but that's what we've heard from.
It's like dude, I can see the border from my house.
Which is crazy, right?
Yeah, I actually can.
We're not too far from the border either. We're an hour and a half.
Yeah.
But no, there have been a lot of what's the word for it? Home invasions. I think the crime is up, but Brampton's a beautiful place. I just feel, and I think you can relate. I think it's awesome. I can speak Punjabi the whole day and get by. I remember I called Pizza, and for some reason he said Hanji Bhaji ki chahiye, and I'm like, you don't have my caller ID. It's the last name's Judge.
Yeah.
How do you call him freaking Brown? But I love it, and I would rather live nowhere else. And
they said Hanji Bhaji ki chahiye, which means hello sir, what would you like?
What would you like? Yeah.
And what did you order, man? I know you. You like to eat. What did you order?
And then I said pepperoni pizza, and he sounded a little disappointed.
Yeah.
But
what do you expect from you? Butter chicken?
Exactly, like tandoori chicken pizza, which is easily gettable here. Mm-hmm. And I lived in Mississauga also, which is sort of where the Pakistanis in the GTA live.
Yeah. So there's a partition line in between Brampton and Mississauga?
Almost, yeah.
And Milton's like Bangladesh, but it's still some Pakis there too?
Yeah, and Scarborough's Sri Lanka.
It all makes so much sense.
Yeah, and I'm sure those divisions exist in Vancouver also.
Oh, hell yeah, man. It exists.
I guess Surrey's where the Sikhs are.
Well, it's like we have a lot of Asians in Richmond. Then we have like Iranians. Then we have like they're in North Vancouver. Then then in Surrey, it's kind of like Surrey is an interesting place, man. I've told you this before. It's a melting pot. Yeah. It's just so damn big, man. It's massive. It's like Mississauga in a sense, but it hasn't been all just like you're saying Pakistanis. Right? There's Sikhs here, there's Muslims here, there's Arabs here. They all exist in Surrey. That's why I think something unique will happen here.
Yeah, and you were telling me it's the way it's connected and the way it's in the middle of things, that the possibility of growth.
It's right in the middle. Vancouver doesn't make any sense if you look at it geographically. Vancouver's in a corner, right, surrounded by water. Right? New Westminster, which is another city, it's the capital, which was like the capital. It's right in the middle, like a little bit farther, but Surrey's smack dab in the middle. So it's connected, all the bridges, everything is connected to Surrey. So I do think it's poised to blow up in the right way. We'll see. But so you were, I don't want to say blow up, I always get in trouble.
Yeah, in the right way.
In the right way. And then you went, North York, what was it like growing up there?
I don't remember much because we moved out to Brampton when we were 4. I think my parents really wanted to get out. At that time, it was sort of ghettoized.
And there was no brown people, right?
There were brown people, but not too many. There was racism too. It's funny. My parents brush it off. They'd be called Paki like every day, but they don't take it too seriously. It hasn't really affected them. I've never been called a Paki, but I'm sure it could take me off.
Well, you're a Paki, all right.
Well, yeah. I'm an Indian.
It's like, but you know what? I was watching that movie. Have you watched it, Viceroy's House?
No, I heard of it. It's with Judi Dench.
Yeah, and like Kuma Qureshi, and like it's not bad. It's an interesting film. It's about the British leaving.
We're in the Jeddah movies, right?
I think so. Is it? Yeah. It's not bad, man. But it talks about, there's some scenes I recorded and I posted on Instagram where it was like, yeah, like my Muslim friends, we lived together. They didn't care. And even the workers within the Viceroy's house, they were all friends. And then once like they started talking about Pakistan, that's when they started being like, okay, you know what? Yeah, I want. But the Muslims were like, we want Pakistan. The Hindu. Then they started fighting even more. Yeah. But they never cared before, man. Like they were chilling. So it's interesting. But go ahead. Yeah. You were never called Paki, but your parents were.
Yeah, they were. And then they moved to Brampton in '94. And from '94 to '98, we lived in Brampton. And Brampton was like the average suburb experience. You know, the school's nearby. You got to drive everywhere.
Yeah.
Nothing spectacular sort of influenced the way I live now.
What were you like in elementary though?
I was
a couple pounds heavier.
Oh, much heavier. I was the fat kid, and I used sort of my humor to sort of combat being fat, dealing with low self-esteem.
Yeah.
It was funny. I was this super popular kid because of my humor, but a lot of it was to make sure that my deficiencies, which were weight related, wouldn't be out in the open, even though they technically were. So I was like that from I'd say first, second year university, where I used my humor to sort of combat the fact that I was overweight. So I wasn't really too happy with myself. Mm-hmm. But I made sure that I was popular and funny to move on.
Was it like self-deprecating humor, or was it more like just making fun of people, or what?
At the start, it was making fun of people, so it was in a form bullying almost, right?
Yeah.
If there's three weird guys and one weird guy has a humor, he would attack the two weird guys who doesn't, because that's what differentiates you from them.
Yeah.
And I realized that early on, and I think at the core I'm a decent human being, so I sort of gravitated away from that.
Yeah.
And then eventually I used humor. I realized that I have this gift of making people laugh and understanding what makes someone laugh. So I know that, knowing you, I know the boundary is, it's almost not even there. I can go wherever I want with you. But there are other people that I can't go so far, but I know which buttons to press. So now I use it as a tool.
Dude, you know how to gauge. That's you know how to probe as well.
Yeah, I've been blessed, and I feel like you're the same way. Like there are very few people that and I was telling Shavel this and Omar, that I'm willing to listen to and just be quiet and listen to, because I like to talk, I like to hear my voice. Yeah. And you're one of those people, because I feel like you know your audience, and I'm blessed with that same gift. And a part of it's probably because growing up with such a diverse crowd.
I think so too, man. You said you grew up with, there's some West Africans. We're gonna get there, but then Brampton, things like that. But also, man, it's that self-awareness that you have.
Yeah.
Right, and I think the more self-aware you are, the more you're more aware of other people and their feelings as well.
Yeah, 100%.
And you were like making like Arshid, who's like a homosexual Pakistani Muslim guy, and you're asking him about like his boyfriend and how his boyfriend's private parts are and things like that. But thing is, if anyone else had said that to Arshid, he would have been pissed. But it's you. You weren't saying it in a mean way. You were just saying it as like as a joke. Like,
yeah, I know, for sure. And I know he's very much like you. And we were talking about this before the recording started. It's hard to be offended when you know your truth. I'm not gonna lie. I make fun of every religion. Yeah. And when you're over and your cousin Omar are over, Islam gets it. But you don't get offended because you know your truth. And I feel like more people need to be like that.
Dude, when you're insecure though, you're super defensive.
Yes. Yeah, and a lot of it comes from identity politics. It's like people need something to latch onto, and they latch onto this thing that they don't even know much about. Like, you're really well versed in Islam, more so than many of my other Muslim friends. And the fact that you're the one who gets least offended is the fact that you're secure in your truth and you know what Islam has to offer and what Islam gives you. So that's, and I feel like Arshid's the same way. He's secure in his homosexuality.
Yeah. So, no, you're right. 100%, man. Well, that's okay. Let's see. We'll go back to your story, but even looking at the podcast, like people of the community, right?
Yeah.
It used to be formerly known as Basic Comedy, right? Wait, why did you change it to people of the community?
That's Darshan. Darshan wanted a broader appeal. He felt like Desi Comedy sounded like a meme page, which I agree. I like to name people in the community, but I think it's gonna be a slow process now to get people back into the fold.
It'll happen. The right people will show up, man.
Yeah. The views are still good. We're doing okay, and people enjoy our podcast. And I think they like the brutal honesty.
Well, that's what. There we go. That's what I was going to talk about. The brutal honesty, right? Is in your podcast, you guys. There's no holds barred.
No.
You guys go all out. Yeah.
Sorry. Can I swear? No. Say whatever you want. Yeah.
It's all good, man. That's what I loved about when I did the podcast with you guys too. Is that it's just everyone's speaking. The world we live in, people don't do that no more. Everyone's politically correct.
Yes.
Yeah. Right? How do you feel about that? Because you're a director and stuff like that. How do you feel about political correctness and everything going on?
So I actually, my significant other is someone that works on PR campaigns, works in the political circle. You know her. And
wait, you have a significant other?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Oh man.
You're responsible. You're responsible for her being in my life.
All I did was I was like, who can I get together? The two people that they're both very intellectual and they're both very funny. They're both those two really I'm that one weird guy like you were saying earlier, but these are the two other weird people, right? Because Shavel's the type of person that randomly you just look at her and she's making funny faces to herself.
Yeah.
Does that ever freak you out?
At first, I was like, this is kind of like, what the hell?
Yeah.
But it's like, I can't do that. I don't have many expressions. So she's basically doing what my mind is thinking. Mm-hmm. So that's why we connected. But going back to politically correct, so her working on these campaigns, and you know how it is, you worked on, I think, Robbie's campaign also.
Yeah, until Shavel didn't want me anymore, yep. Yeah.
But you know how it's, you got to say the right thing. You got to wear the right thing, you got to do the right thing. And oftentimes, I think that seeps into our relationship. And so on the podcast, if I say a question or say something, a lot of the time she's like, well, you shouldn't say this. And we combat. Because for me, it's like, I don't really care about the repercussions. And she's like, well, people don't understand attention. So we're fighting back and forth. So maybe I won't make that joke in public now, on a public platform on Facebook or Instagram, but I'll still make it in private. So that's something we really combat, because I like to say what's on my mind, whereas she's inherently trying to restrict something that is offensive.
Well, so what about someone like you? Because you're all about comedy. You're hilarious. You're one of the funniest people I know, hands down. And I meet a lot of people. But do you feel like if you're being politically correct, it does stop you from the really funny jokes? Like, it doesn't have to be vulgar, but you're just saying stuff that actually is hilarious.
100%. And it goes back to, like, I don't get being offended. Nothing offends me. Like, literally nothing offends me. It can go back, I use this as an example. Someone can call my dad a thief. I know my truth. My dad's not a thief, so why am I offended? It makes no sense. But that's the culture we live in. I understand that some words, there should be restrictions. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to lie. I still say the N-word, but I say it at a much lesser degree than I used to, because I know it's a word that affects the community in a very negative way.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. My brother, we had a basketball tournament, and I had taught him about that. I said, look, it's like that word. A lot of people say it. A lot of my black friends, because I grew up playing ball, right? Yeah. So it's that's like a common thing. It's even on the court. And I was like, man, it's why add that to your repertoire of words? Right?
Yeah,
like why?
Yeah.
Right? If you're very intellectual, you don't need to add that word into it. It doesn't really do anything. It doesn't add anything.
No, you're right. But likewise, like, you grew up in that culture. I grew up watching, listening to hip hop, and my friends had this particular dialect where we'd refer out of love. I've never used the N-word in a derogatory way.
You never add the ER at the end.
Never, no.
Yes, it's always just the A. A couple A's.
Always the A. Yeah, maybe the AH.
Yes,
But it was always out of love, like, you're my, But then I realized that it does affect people, and you're like, it doesn't really bring anything to the conversation.
Yeah, what does it do? 100%. Especially when you look at the history, like you're saying, right? Yeah. It was never used in a positive light.
Yeah.
Right? And so go ahead, you were saying that now, like, you stopped really saying that, and that's because of your significant other.
Well, no, the N-word I stopped saying before I met her. But I now do think about what I say, which I find is a little problematic. I feel like I should just say my truths and say what I feel, but I do have to respect other people and their sensitivities. Not everyone is like me or you, and that in itself is I guess, a little fair.
Well, dude, I think it all, again, goes back to the main point of insecurity, right? Yeah. I think we live in a society. Dude, I was watching that episode. I was telling you, Black Mirror, Season 3, Episode 1. I think it's called Nosedive, and it's about a society where everyone's fixated on their ranking. Like it's out of 5 stars.
Yeah.
And everyone's just being fake polite and not saying what's on their mind, just so that everyone will perceive them to be a certain way. And I think when you're secure with yourself, man, like, you don't care about, oh, this is what this person thinks of me. It's all about, like, focus on yourself, right?
Yeah.
And be real, like you're saying, speak your truth. And the real people will vibe with you. Real recognize real.
Yeah.
Right? And so what's going on with your humor right now? Like, not your humor, but like the stuff you work on now.
We do the podcast with AC Comedy. We do one every week. We're recording one tomorrow.
Yeah.
And it's a great tool, and I think you use it for the same reasons. It's a great tool to network. It's not so much to get like a huge army to listen to us, but we're very fortunate. We have like some very loyal fans who love what we do.
You guys are too funny, man. You guys are the funniest people on the internet, especially for brown people.
I think, you know what? I think that's not a stretch. I think
it's not a stretch.
And we get some great guests on, like from like all different types of walks of life. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And I'm doing. Sorry, this is the phone. I'm doing. We just finished shooting our second short, which is, again, like I mentioned earlier, on an immigrant couple falling in love. I'm writing another short that has to do with a widower, Indian South Asian widower, who find love again after his wife passed away.
That's interesting perspective.
Yeah, it deals with how Bollywood clouds the way we really feel and think about love. Like, have you heard of the term "hasi to fasi"?
So if she laughs, she's you won her over.
Yeah, you won her over.
Yeah.
अगर उसने मुड़ के देखा तो, you know, बात बन गई. Like,
she looks back. Yeah, she's all yours.
Which is really problematic. But that's the stuff that our parents and even us, to a degree, grew up listening and watching.
Yeah.
And that's really clouded the way we think and see love. Even myself, in my early relationships, I was very obsessive, and I still am to a degree, because watching Bollywood, it was like, she's mine, and...
Oh, it's possession, dude.
Yeah, it's possession. So I'm exploring that with my second short, and I'm just like... I think one thing that you do really well that I need to start doing is not to limit my experiences and meet and go to new places, because I'm only limited to my experiences, and now I'm finding out that I can't write on a broader scale. I can only write about what I know. So that's one thing I'm trying to mimic of yours, is to perhaps, like you're going to India, hit up Pakistan.
Let me know if you want to go, bro. I got you.
One day, man, after I finish my degree, I do want to go to Lahore. So I do want to...
I'll take you to Lahore.
Yeah, you can take me to Lahore. I've always wanted to Islamabad, so...
Yeah, well, I want to ask you this, man, about your first short, because I watched it, and I know you just released it to the public, right?
Yeah.
That short, first of all, it touched on a very, very, very powerful subject that most people don't even understand or know about. And I wanted you to actually discuss it right now. So what's it called?
It's called Vishal.
What's it about?
So it's about a international student, so a South Asian international student that's come from India, and how he's trying to balance work and paying for school and school. Mm-hmm. And it's sort of a day in his life.
Yeah.
It mimics what most international students, and I'm sure in BC and Ontario, go through. I thought it would be a good first project because it's a topic that no one discusses. So even if I make a mediocre film, I think the message could get across. It's a very selfish. Yeah, it was a very selfish reason I made the film. Yeah. It's after the film I realized the impact it had.
Yeah. What was the impact like once you made it?
Dude, people would cry when they'd watch it. International students would cry. They were like, "This is our story." And it was very overwhelming, to be honest, because it's something that I see every day. Because I grew up, like I said, I worked in North York, and we had a lot of international students working for us. And we would pay them cash, but we'd pay them minimum wage. But they would have second jobs at restaurants for $5 an hour.
Yeah.
And it's a really, really hard life. And to bring light to it, I didn't know that I'd get so much positivity around it. It did really well, and I'm super happy about it. But I think conditions are getting better.
Yeah.
I think they should be allowed to work more hours to pay for school.
Dude, they're paying an enormous amount of money too. Like, for what we're paying, we're not paying much compared to them.
Yeah, double. They're paying double.
It's insane. They're paying double. What was some interesting stuff you learned from making once you made this film about immigrant or international students?
So what's interesting is I've worked with international students 5 years prior, well, actually almost a decade prior to that film.
Yeah.
So I knew pretty much a lot going into that film. The toughest part for international students is the 20 hours a week. They're only allowed to work 20 hours a week.
That's it?
And that's it.
Yeah.
And it's really hard. it's really hard to get a work permit. So what happens is you can only work 20 hours a week on campus.
Yeah.
And there's only a limited amount of jobs on campus.
Yeah.
So then they take odd jobs.
And then they got the accent too. Like that's another factor.
Yeah, it's harder to get a job when you have that thick accent. And not just accent, your skin color. You know, it's harder to get a job. So that's something that I already knew. I already knew what they were going through, and it took me so long to make the film because I wasn't sort of confident in my own abilities. I wanted to make a documentary at first.
Yeah.
But the thing with documentary is the laws change every week. There's so much change that it's really hard to
keep up. Yeah.
Keep up. Yeah. So I thought a short would be a better look.
Well, what I wanted to even end off, because this is just going to be a short interview. This is going to be like an intro until we actually get you live here in the flesh, man.
Yeah. Right? I'll be there this summer, hopefully.
All right. No, this has been great. But I wanted to say, even in that film, man, what I really loved was you showcased the relationship between him and his mom. Mm-hmm. Right? And how, like, he's so far away from home, right? He's just telling his mom, everything is fine. You know what? I'm just at school, and you mean like that, dude? That was whose voice was it actually when you were talking?
That was my mom. That was my mom, and that's everyone's favorite part. The way she spoke.
Yeah.
They don't know how many takes it took. It took forever.
Really?
she was really good. But I think the South Asian guys, and this is I think the Pakistani, Indian, Sri Lankan culture is that we're mama's boys, man. Like we are, and I wanted to show that and portray that. So.
And you did a good job, man.
Thank you. Hopefully you guys like my second. I want to have a private screening for all my close friends before we do release it in the festival run. So I'd love for you to watch it. Tell me what you think.
For the next film, then, what's it called?
We don't have we have a tentative title. It's called Kaun Mera. So who is this, or who is this person?
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's what both characters feel in an immigrant marriage, in an arranged marriage, before they really get to know one another. Who is this person?
Like we're sleeping together. Who the hell is this? Yeah.
Yeah, which is like scary, man. And I hope.
Wait, hold up. But wouldn't you say that's just like going to the club and hooking up with someone? Like, who the hell is this person? I just met this person.
Yeah, right? you might be right, but imagine spending your whole life with them after.
And then you pop out some kids with them. You mean? And you're like, okay, we're stuck in a mortgage together, and like, who are you?
Yeah, and it's never answered. I think it took my parents a decade to really figure out who they really were, and that in itself is scary. That's why I feel like people who are watching this, one, we need to stop criticizing our parents for the beliefs and the perspectives they hold, because they didn't have time to shape and really build those beliefs that we have. And two, to realize how love is a luxury and everything we have is a luxury that our parents didn't have. It's really easy to be grateful when we see what they went through, and that's what I hope our movie gets across.
Yeah, man, that's a wonderful way to end off the episode as well, man.
Thanks, man. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you, Sumit, man. I love you, by the way, and I know we have that luxury because we've been blessed. But thank you, man. We're gonna, like, anybody that is watching or listening to this too, I'm gonna have all the links too for like your Instagram, for Vishal. Because again, when I watched Vishal, man, it really hit me because I kept researching what was going on with the immigrant students or the international students. So we're gonna have those links up. And we're obviously going to have links up to the people of the community episode. So what's one podcast that you recommend quickly?
I recommend, since you have a lot of BC followers too, the Archie Condola podcast.
Oh my God! All right, okay, the Archie Condola.
It's out of left field, but that's my favorite one.
Nothing really matters.
Nothing really matters.
Nothing really matters. All right, so the Archie Condola podcast it is. All right, yo, man, thank you. Tell the Shavla, say what's up. Right, enjoy your last day with her. For now. Yeah. Right? Because it's just the beginning, man. When you guys have a kid, please, you're going to end up bringing a lot of people together if you name him Abubakar.
You know what? We might. We'll have two, a name of Abu and then Bakr.
Okay, yeah. Abu and then you're going to hyphenate your last names. So, Judge Gil. All right. Yo, thank you, my man. I'll talk to you soon. Okay, peace, bro. Thank you for watching our videos. Your support really means a lot to us. Check out our podcast and honestly check out the other conversations we've been having as well.